Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Banner Souls Cryptic Gaming here. I hope you've been having a wonderful week so far. We'll give you some updates on some of the stuff that we've encountered in the game, but first I wanted to share a build with you that I'm currently working on, explain what we're doing here with this build. This is that battle junk, the new junk ship that you get from the past. When you've spent 45 smuggler points, you get the blueprint for this. It is worth getting. It is also worth upgrading. Been very happy with it so far, so I've been playing around with a couple things. We originally played around with some of the poison weapons, the Lepic Rays from last season, and they were okay. Then, of course, the Divine Thunders that you open up from the past. But what I'm really enjoying so far is the Heaven's Mandate. Now, you're going to get more range out of Divine Thunder. You're going to get a little bit more damage out of those as well. But you're going to get a faster reload use of this Heaven's Mandate. And I've just really thoroughly enjoyed this Culverin. This is one that you can build. You got to get the blueprint over in Lenitra. And let me tell you, it is not cheap to build this thing as far as trying to make sure you got all the right claws. The little dragon claws, we can bring you over there and show you at the blacksmith what that requires again here in just a minute. But I want to show you what we got on the ship so far. So working on that. Once I've got all those Heaven's Mandate, we're going to get those put around. Of course, running fire Bombard 3 on the rear of this ship as well. We may switch it to a Dard. What I really was hoping is that we would have some kind of electric effect weapon for Bombards. Now that's something that may come later. It may come next season. You know, they kind of seem like they add some stuff in mid-season sometimes, so kind of keeping fingers crossed on that. Then, of course, the Crouching Tiger, which does add that taunt. It also adds Burning 2 on there as well. Probably will end up putting that on a Sambuck just because it does have that 20% of burning damage, so that should help with the blaze effect of a Sambuck as well. It's kind of what we're looking at. You get that from the black market. Now, armor rating, of course, you know, Black Prince has always been sort of kind of the best, it seemed like. Well, I think Phoenix Crest is going to maybe take over on some of that. And here's why. So you got a 1240 armor rating. So that's about 40 more than you would get with a Black Prince. Then, of course, you get 10% negation from explosion. The flooding's 10%, burning 35% negation. Then you get 10% piercing and 5% electric negation off of that as well. You get that Revile perk on there. Every hit received while bracing will build up the taunting status effect on an attacking enemy. You also get Gloat, increases your brace strength recovery by 100% for each enemy with the taunted status effect is actively targeting your ship, up to a maximum of 10 enemy ships. So this is pretty decent armor from the looks of it. I've been enjoying it so far. When it comes to furniture, still playing around with some of the furniture in here. So we have the scrapper station, which works good for your PVE stuff. PvP is okay, but PVE is really where that shines. Then, of course, our charge station. This is going to help with those status effects for your storm struck status. You know, anything with electrical and all that as well. So it also increases the rate of a blaze status effect by 10%. So you can set those ships ablaze as well. Then, of course, the emergency sails. I put this on here. Helps to increase trim speed by 10% while pursuing an enemy ship within 400 meters. May not sound like much, but it does come in handy. This is a slower ship anyway, and sometimes you get where the enemy wants to run from you and you want to chase them down, so this is going to give you an extra 10% top speed on that. May get replaced with something later. Maybe it's a little better. We'll see. Amber coating station, again, just going to charge the charge rate of that stormstruck status as well. So it's also going to increase the duration of it on there by 8%. So definitely put that on. Where do you get this? Well, that one will drop from Lynn. So I dropped a couple from her. And then you open that up in the pass as well. Sparked Warhorn. That's going to increase charge rate of crew attack by 10%. Again, another great PvE thing to use. It does work good for PvP if you can increase those as well. The long gun works is something we've got on there because we were running those heavier long guns. I'm hoping to get that changed out with something else. I've not decided what we want to do with that yet. I'm looking for another defensive type of a perk. We will probably run something like the I don't know, Gunner's Wall or something like that. Well, just haven't decided yet what we're going to do with that. So, but that's kind of what we're looking at on there right now. Then, of course, your cosmetics. That's all pick of the draw, whatever your preference is on there. So this is the cosmetic you open in the past. What I'm currently running on there. I enjoy it. Looks pretty nice out on the open sea. So, but that's what we're looking at right now. We got that up to a 13. It is a level 6 now. We're going to bring that up so you can see the actual perks and stuff. So it's a tank specialization on there. Then of course you have that provoke. It says weapons hit with 200-meter range. Apply taunted charges to the ships that you're hitting. I mean, it's just great stuff. Taunted with the ship makes target vulnerable, 50% increased weak point damage from all sources. So anything you're shooting at them, they're going to be a little bit more vulnerable to your weak point damage when you're hitting those weak points and stuff like that. So increases brace strength by 150% and brace strength recovery by 25%. So we could add something like rigging station, which is really just going to add to that. Now you can use these different types of perks within your furniture, where you could kind of park this thing in a bay, where if you look at your furniture, certain ones where if you're sitting still, it just basically makes you tank out, and that's really what would work great with this ship. But I'm not someone who likes to just sit in one spot and shoot. I like to, be moving, chasing folks down. Maybe not the best ship for that, because it does have a lower top speed than the Sandbuck, but like I say, you can get that extra 10% out. You have this indoor perk, which is pretty nice. It's going to help really just kind of stretch out those brace impacts and stuff. Then of course Deep Blue improves your turning speed when traversing the seas. That is going to be out in the open ocean, not inside of small little corridors. So remember, that's where that works best at. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. This thing seems to be holding up pretty nice in battle. Definitely been enjoying it real heavily. That's one of the reasons why I'm not in a real big hurry to get my battle bark rebuilt. Now, I am going to get it rebuilt, and I'm hoping this is where I want to mention here toward the end of the video, now that we've got the build over. I want to mention I have not yet received items. I have been in contact with Ubisoft through tickets about the issues that we have come across, and we'll see what happens. I imagine it'll be next week before we see anything at the next reset. Something else that I did notice, if you recall, we've been making videos on different ships and stuff for quite a while, and all the ships here recently have been level 13s. So I went through and I just want to see exactly what all I was missing, and we were missing a battle bark. We were also missing a level 13, which is, level 6, which is up to level 13 brigantine. So my original brigantine I had built, it's just gone. I mean, it's gone. So of course we have our brig and some of the newer ships, but the brigantine was gone, the bark was gone. So put in a report request on that as well. And one of the things I've noticed, Ubisoft, after you converse with them back and forth a few times, they close out the ticket and then tell you, oh, it's not actually closed, we're still looking into it. Are they really? I don't know. And when you respond back in, they go, well, you don't have to respond. We're still looking into the issues and why is the issue closed. You don't really get a response back on that. They just tell you not to respond because they just want to close the issue and sweep it under the rug, is what it seems like. So until they get this fixed, I'm going to make sure every video people know what's going on with it. Is it a good game? It's a fun game to play. We enjoy it within our Discord community. We play it quite a bit. We get large farming raids going and stuff like that. Eventually they're going to get PvP, where it's a little more effective with the 5 versus 5 when that finally releases. So those are going to be some really good things to see as well. But we're just not quite there yet. Hopefully soon. But, until they get their issues fixed, my recommendation to you, if you don't have the game and you're looking at getting it, buy it on sale somewhere. Go to a GameStop, try to find a used copy or something like that. I would not pay full price until they get this thing fixed. In fact, I will not be paying anything for any gold or any passes or anything like that until they start replacing the stuff that goes missing during their little maintenance issues and stuff like that. You will always have issues where your warehouse, your cargo and stuff like that is going to get hit. Why, I have no idea, but you'll have a few items go missing. A lot of people don't notice stuff like that. I myself do, but I come from an MMO background on games. I like to build my character up. I like to make sure I've got the stores that I need when I'm going through a game. If I find something that looks like an important commodity item, I build it up, and I'll have several thousand, tens of thousands of it, so you don't have to go back and grind that stuff out later. And then when you come into the game and they start removing that stuff from your inventories, that's typically when I start to get some issues with it. So it's not that I'm trying to bash on Ubisoft. I know it may seem that way. I want people to know it is a fun game. But if you get it on sale somewhere. But expect that there's going to be problems. Now, we're no longer in entry level with the game. There was a few minor issues when this game first come out that to me wasn't a real big deal. You might be a couple hundred short of something, but when you're losing entire ships that take a while to upgrade, you're talking about major components, and then your weapons and your furnitures and things that, if you've noticed the grinding, you do not have the drop rates you used to have on your rare items. And when you put all those items on ships and you're using those ships in conjunction for what they're built for, and you're switching between your ships, and all of a sudden you start losing all that stuff, and you can't, some of that stuff you can't go back and get, you can't trade, you can't buy. It's just one of those deals where you're just kind of screwed out of it now. That is one of those issues that I feel like people need to know about in the game. So yeah, there's some issues within this game. It's something that can be easily fixed. How do you fix that? Well, what you do is this little half butt team that they've got going on that doesn't seem to know what they're doing when it comes to MMOs. They need to get rid of those folks, and they need to bring in a team that actually knows what they're doing. They got rid of a lot of their more experienced developers, and they kept all these young kids. If you've ever watched any of the passes or the deck that they call it the Ubisoft deck or whatever, it's a bunch of young guys that don't really know what they're doing. They just, everything's fun, everything's great, everything's wonderful, but it's not everything's not wonderful, because there's issues in the game that they need to fix, and they need to start focusing on fixing those issues instead of just shoving the ticket to the side. And once they start doing that, they're going to really be able to get this game going, because if they continue to just screw over their baseline players, their dedicated grinders, I know for me, this is the game that I used to get on and I would grind as someone who's retired for a very long time. Come out here, and when you first get up in the morning, play it throughout the day, you play it throughout the night, and you put hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into this stuff. And now it's to a point where I'm kind of looking for something else. The reason why, not to say I won't play this, but I'm looking for something to put my attention on right now. The reason for that is because all the grinding that you do in the game, it may not be there tomorrow. The next reset could wipe it all out. And unfortunately, that's what you're facing in this game right now. So play the game, enjoy it with your friends, but don't get too heavy into the grind right now. The reason I say that is you don't know if you're going to have your materials when you come in next week. So you have a wonderful day. We're going to talk with everybody later.